You have to be careful about making a weird show or watching a weird show.
Hello, this is Greg Smalley on Pod 366, a weird movies podcast. Joined this week, as I frequently am, by the duplicitous Giles Edwards.
Or am I?
Or is he? And so, quick, I guess, programming note, we will be off next week for Thanksgiving vacation here in the States. Because we will be off that week, we're going to mention at least quickly some releases from next week that will be on physical media that we know about. There were actually quite a few important releases that are coming out the week of Thanksgiving for some reason, I guess in anticipation of Black Friday. Giles, you have a thermometer over your right shoulder, it looks like. Well, what's your reading?
That's to help me in summertime, because this is the warmest room during the summer or the coldest room during the winter. And in the summer, if the interior temperature is warmer than the outside on rare occasions, I'll know to open the window.
Okay, but I just wanted a temperature.
The current temperature in this room.
Yes.
Is 66 degrees.
Wow. Okay. It is a cold room. Okay.
Cardigan weather.
Wearing a sweater. All right. Well, let's get into this week's releases, and there are some good ones. Both this week and next week.
Mm-hmm.
Especially this week. And I got to share the screen. There we go. There we go. Can you see them?
I can see them now. I see 8 images.
8 images. Okay. Let us get started. Lots in theaters this week. Here's one. We're going to start off with one that's in a foreign language. So why don't you describe this poster for our viewers who are unable to see this lovely image?
All right, we've got a lively poster here. Dead center is a large diamond. You know, one of those great stereotypical one shapes you might see in a Looney Tunes cartoon or something, and it is glowing a lovely blue, and within this diamond is the reflected image on left and right side of a profile of a man with a firearm shooting, and out from the gun blast at the edge of the diamond scatter bits of shards that cover much of the poster here. And his double image is in the center of a target in the center of this diamond, and radiating from the diamond are all those little bits shot from it by his small super spy gun. And looming over this dramatic, explosive bit of glass scenery here are the arced eyes of, I'll say, nefarious looking woman, because she's definitely in control of things. Prominent but well manicured eyebrows, piercing blue eyes, mascara, and done up in a sort of angled mask style, except we see the eyes and they're not obscured. So this is all very super spy thriller stylish action going on.
Yeah, and there's a title.
Reflet dans un diamant mort.
Wow, what pronunciation. Or as we would say in English, reflection in a dead diamond.
Yeah.
That's a rather literal translation. And it's from Helene Catet et Bruno Forzani, who you guys should know. They were famous for their, they start out with Giallo, sort of, they've done, how many movies have they done? 4 or 5, I think, together.
Yeah, it sounds right.
They started out doing sort of Giallo tributes, and then they did a police thriller Italian tribute. There's a genre, Italian genre that's like poliziana or something. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, the sort of police procedural genre.
And then this one, a spy movie, and they
Yeah.
all at least a bit weird. Giles, you have seen this one, I believe. I will say I was going to see this one yesterday, and had a late dinner and didn't get back till 10:30, and so was unable to see it. I'm going to see it tonight. So you're going to kind of set the table for me and tell me what to look for in this one.
All right. Well, you are in for a treat. This is a very meta movie, but also very anchored in the super spy genre of the 60s. I'll explain to you why I thought I might join the Apocrypha, and that Catet and Forzani whirl their inspirations in a blender while pushing a cornucopia of subgenres up to and past the breaking point, including the popular kink CMNKWF. And that's clothed male, naked katana-wielding female, for those not in the loop. So a lot of great stylization. It's the kind of thing, if you've seen Let the Corpses Tan, you may remember there was a fair amount of odd sort of meditative shots and then these weird bursts of, hyper action. This is sort of the reverse ratio.
Hmm. So there's a lot of action with
Yeah, a lot of action and style to spare. And I close out wishing that these people would be put in charge of the James Bond franchise, because then we could be guaranteed some really cool stuff.
yeah. Well, this is out in theaters, of course, given what it is, a foreign kind of surreal genre movie. It's going to be in limited release. You won't be likely to see it at your local Metroplex theater unless you live in a very large city. But I have a screener for it, so I can see it later today. And Giles, of course, has already reviewed it in full, liked it, recommended it, and so this is one to put on your to see list if you like weird cinema and if you like Katet and Forzani.
If you like
Always,
spy cinema, oh yeah,
always,
it's a treat.
always deliver. Not sure what genre they are likely to tackle next. Wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe take on European softcore film next. Seems like the kind of thing like an Emmanuel type
Yeah.
movie. Them.
Or if they played around with the weird hybrid, softcore and horror thing would be
Mhm.
very amusing from this pair.
There are all kinds of horror alleyways they can go down with their retro stuff, but it's all based on European genre films of that period. So we shall see what they come up with next, but this is one to look for. Also in theaters, this one might be a little more available to people. I'm not sure, but Giles, do you want to describe this four-tiered poster?
Sure, you say four tiers. This is divided in four stacked slices. On the top, we've got a sort of scraggly, scruffy, middle-aged, tan, weathered-looking fellow looking dismayed off into the distance over our shoulder. Just below him, and a bit more of a close-up, so we just see the eyes, bridge of the nose, off to the ears, a curly-haired, tan-skinned youth. Below that, a range of large hills or mountains with a fairly crimson sky, ominous clouds. You can see a couple of crucifixes off in the distance, and in the foreground we see a trio, I'm guessing a family, traveling across this hell on earthscape. And on the bottom we have a middle close-up of a young brunette, similarly, sun-baked skin, with looks like she's recently been injured from the blood by her nose, and she is also looking off to one side in not so much dismay as concern, bordering on perhaps wonder. Hard to say with that expression, but yes, much motif of atmospheric reds going on in each of these four slices.
Yeah, the sky is very ominously red and orange, and those crucifixes in the background seem like they might be foreshadowing. And it has a title
Yes.
that you
And
can read.
so the title is The Carpenter's Son.
And there's a little cross inside the zero as well. So, Giles, do you know what this is about?
I watched the trailer, and it looks like it's about a very holy family in Christian lore. I'm guessing the Carpenter is played by an actor we know and love, and about the travails of him and, of course, his son, as the son deals with what looks like a sort of demoniac young lady or an older girl that he has encounters with during his youth.
Yes, a tempter of some sort,
Mm.
temptress. So the poster features the three people who star in this. At the bottom is the woman who plays a character named Mary,
Hmm.
and that is the singer FKA Twigs, who I've heard of, but I really don't know anything about. In the middle is the young man who plays the teenage lead of this. Noah Jupe is his name. I'm
Hmm.
unfamiliar with him, and he plays a character named Jesus. And then at top is our old buddy Nicolas Cage, looking very scraggly, and he is playing Joseph. So what this is it's the Jesus horror movie.
Yeah.
Ultimate public domain character finally turned into a horror movie. It is based, I'm assuming very loosely on the apocryphal, not apocryphally weird, apocryphal infancy gospel of Thomas, which is one of those gospels that Christians read and said, "Nah, this ain't right. This ain't right. This ain't divinely inspired." Covers Jesus's like teenage years from like 5 to 18 or so, I think.
Yeah, I suppose we should maybe clear a thing out. Looking at the IMDb page, these names given are only very probable, but they are only credited as the mother, the boy, and the carpenter. So I'm not sure if, we know who they are.
Yeah, we know who they are. Yeah. Okay, they're not credited under their actual names maybe for copyright violation. I'm not sure.
That's right. This could be any carpenter, mother, and boy.
Yeah, in biblical times, there's probably a lot of them, so that meet that definition. Yes, and so in the infancy gospel of Thomas, Jesus did some rather bad things, and that's why I think it was not selected as a canonical gospel, because Jesus would go around killing his classmates for minor transgressions. But to his credit, by the end of the gospel, he repents and brings everybody that he killed back to life. So I don't know if that's in here. So
one of the hardest things to do, God or no, is admit when you're wrong.
yes. So understandably, this one is getting some blowback from people on IMDb and elsewhere who are offended by the subject matter, despite its literary tradition, its literary grounding, saying it's scripturally inaccurate and so forth. So that controversy is probably, and the presence of Nicolas Cage is probably what brings it to our attention. I was not going to cover this one, but a reader has requested that we cover this one, and so we're going to cover it. We will see. I will say, despite the, all the Christians just reflexively giving it 1 star, the mainstream critics really haven't been any nicer to it than that. It's got like a 38% positive on Rotten Tomatoes. So not too good, but there it is. The Carpenter's Son. We will report on that in about 2 weeks. But let's move on to this next one. Unfortunately, this isn't the highest resolution image, but Do you want to describe what we do have, Giles?
Yeah, we got a sketchy animation portrait of well, there's a bit of grotesquerie going on, but these are definitely human forms. We see in a spotlight a young woman, long hair, looks like a very what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it's a green dress to start with, but it's all been muted. Yes, that's it. And she is singing, and behind her we see a musician who seems to be playing a horizontal instrument while simultaneously having another one strapped over his back. Foreground, there might be another part of the band, but otherwise, it is this female singer, and on top we can see the sort of old-timey font done wavy style for the monosyllabic title there.
And this is also a movie you've seen, I believe, Giles.
Yeah, I think yeah, I got saw this one covering Slam Dance remotely.
I believe it was 2023, and now it is finally getting at least one theatrical screening. It is called
Slide.
Slide, and it's going to be in, I don't have the venue, but it's going to be in New York City only. It's one of those art theaters in New York City whose name escapes me, but I
Click
can
some links here.
probably come up with it if you're really interested. However, if you're in New York City, it's the one that's, I think it might be Cinema Village,
Mm.
that's showing it.
Yep, November 28th through December 4th, wherever that
November 20,
is.
it is Cinema Village.
All right.
Cinema Village, which would be, I'm guessing, in Village, Greenwich Village. So that's the only place it's showing, but it does get finally a theatrical release. Giles, what can you tell us about Slide?
I can tell you that it's another good movie by Bill Plympton. It was might have been might have been the second of his that I saw. Um, and so if you like that filmmaker, you will like this movie because it's got a whole lot of amazing line work. He's an animator that I feel uses the medium to about the greatest extent you can while still holding on to, recognizable form and narrative. Simple story about a backwoods town and a mysterious visitor coming, and this mysterious visitor plays a mean slide guitar. So there's some good music tossing around there too. I think it's worth mentioning that the version I saw, it wasn't quite the final cut.
Okay.
So that this delay makes more sense than other delays I've come across. So yeah, it's trying to think. Oh yeah, so emerging from a desert whirlpool, a mysterious slide guitarist defends the locals and the local monster from the corrupt machinations of the mayor of Sourdough Creek. So
So it's a period Western
yeah, yeah,
and also a musical
yes.
and also a Bill Plympton animation. So
Yeah, yeah,
get a
all
lot
things
of
we like.
plastic faces and so forth.
Oh yeah, there's this very very mobile images here.
Okay, that's Bill Plympton Slide and playing at Cinema Village in Greenwich Village. From those dates again, I think November 28th to the December 4th.
Yeah.
And so we're giving you a heads up on that one. And the only other thing I would say about that is I would imagine that it's likely to come out on physical media in 2026. After that, Bill Plympton seems to have a relationship with Deaf Crocodile right now, who have released a bunch of his older movies that didn't get much distribution. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them release this one, because they do release new films as well as archival ones. So I would guess, no inside information, but I would guess look for that to show up in 2026 on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Slide by Bill Plympton, Bill Plympton's musical Western. Now, let's move to one that maybe we could have started with, because it's probably the one, if you're a very dedicated weird movie fan, this is a legendary
Hmm.
item. But Giles, describe this lovely image we have here.
This is from an animated still of, in a way, a bit more realistic bent than Plimpton's, but in another way, a bit less so. We have two figures here, and they're standing in front of a much decayed, ruined backdrop of some grand building. We can see some columns with no roof. We can see a semi-shattered wall front. And there's this shaft of light coming from the upper left-hand side of the screen, which is illuminating a kneeling fellow. He looks young, but has shock of white hair, and he's got a traveler's cloak and loose, hard-wearing boots and slacks and so on. And resting on his shoulder is a hard to say. Looks like some organic or uh, highly technical item that's in a kind of cross shape, about the size of a great sword. And he is kneeling in front of a little girl who also has very, very white hair, and she is very pale herself. Her hair is long, goes down, probably down to almost the back of her knees there, and she's wearing a somewhat oversized little dress thing with alternating raspberry and pale pink stripes. And centered in the middle, held in the hand by the traveling fellow in the cloak, is a large egg.
Mhm. A title egg, perhaps, because
Hmm.
it is, of course, a still from Angel's Egg, a movie that was released in 1980. Oof, I'm gonna have to look it up. Eight, I
Something like
guess.
that. Yeah, 1980 sounds right.
Um, but has soon released only, it was an OVA, an original video animation, so it was released only to DVD. Very few people in the United States saw it, and yet everyone who did didn't forget it. Its legend kept circulating, went out of print. They did make a theatrical version to screen in Japan, but never in the United States. Or not a theatrical version, it's the same movie, but they showed it in theaters.
Hmm.
And people just kept waiting for somebody to release it for many, many years. And I think I had assumed that they weren't releasing it just because they couldn't find a print that was good enough to use, because there was certainly a lot of demand for this movie to come out.
1985 was when that first appeared.
So it's now 40 years later. It's finally, they found a good enough print, restored it, and it's finally coming out to theaters. It is a surreal, almost dialogue-free story about basically these two characters, a young girl with an egg and a older man with a cross, and a lot of very moving imagery, a lot of Christian imagery, which is something a lot of Japanese anime filmmakers have taken Christian imagery, probably sort of the way we might take, mandalas and such,
Hmm.
and use it here in the West to be exotic. To them, it would be the Christian imagery would be exotic,
Yeah.
and so yes. Now I do have a slight mea culpa on this. This has been released in a restored version to theaters starting May or November 19th. Today we are recording this November 20th. We're releasing it November 21st. I'm not sure if it will be playing near you, or will, by the time you see this, it might
Hmm.
already be done, because I looked it up today to see the show times, and it only played November 19th here in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't know. I could not find national play dates for it. Just
Oh yeah,
local
and
ones are.
if
So
I hoof it today as we record this, I've got a couple options here, but it doesn't seem that there are any future ones in upstate New York. So
not past November 20th.
yeah.
So I may have done you a disservice by not doing this earlier, reporting on this earlier. However, the good news is, originally it was a release to video, so it's sort of intended to be seen on video, and it will be released to video again. In fact, I'll go ahead and point out that on December 12th, it is coming out on Blu-ray from Umbrella in I believe it's a region free. It does not say. It's an import. It's a 3-disc set. So there's a lot of supplemental information on it.
Oh, that looks real beautiful too.
And that is coming out from Umbrella on December 12th. However, I would also assume that there will be another version after that because G-Kids is putting it out theatrically in the United States. My guess is they are going to put out their own version as well as Umbrella's version. Don't know that for sure, but that is my belief, just so that it will be more available to people in America. So even though I may have done you a disservice by reporting on this a little bit too late, you will be able to see it on physical media. Streaming, I don't know. I probably wouldn't send it to streaming. We'll see if they want to do that or not.
So we apologize for dropping the egg on this one.
We dropped the egg on this one. So that's Angel's Egg, something you should definitely try to see if you can. We do have a review of it up from someone who saw it earlier. But let's move on to this happy announcement for something that is at least, we are ahead of the game on this one at least. Giles, what's this we're looking at here?
We are in a way continuing a theme of animation because there's a lot of animation nonsense going on in this particular feature, but this is done up like an old holiday greeting card. The title is festively, jauntily, cheerfully set up on the left along with the release date. We have a lovely snowy hillscape with fir trees in the back, laden with snow. And in the foreground, what do we see? Starting from the right-hand side, a jolly, happy St. Nicholas-looking kind of figure with a big beard, big hat, big red coat, big bag, and a smile. And he is raising his whip to encourage the animals pulling his sleigh there. And those animals are an assortment of 5 bipedal dog-like things harnessed to the front of the sleigh, as in they are jogging across the snowscape.
Bipedal dog-like things, huh? I guess they don't look like as much like the title animal as you might.
No, those are the
Yes.
trapper's dogs we see here.
They don't have the big buck teeth that
No, I got their
associate.
tongue sticking out in exertion from pulling the Santa-esque figure.
And plus, there are only 5 of them, whereas you would expect maybe hundreds of these
Yeah.
creatures if they were the proper creatures, which are beavers. It is, of course, hundreds of beavers being re-released for Christmas. And this one is coming out in the future. I can tell you a few of the cities. Now, first off, Giles, describe the Hundreds of Beavers for the very few people who don't know what.
Let's see, Hundreds of Beavers. Well, it's from the Cheslick 2's pairing. It's about a former an Applejack salesman whose business gets destroyed by the titular monsters, and he has to start from zero and learn the ways of trapperdom in order to get sufficient pelts to win the heart of his love's father, who will only marry her off for hundreds of beavers. And he has his encounters with these many, many beavers in this snowy landscape, and lots of physical comedy. Cheslick mentioned his inspiration from Calvin and Hobbes vis-a-vis the snowmen, and so there's a lot of snow-based comedy. And it's all very wacky, fun, zany. I'd say it's on the harder side of PG rating. Very silly, but I'd say for all intents and purposes, a family-friendly, old-time Looney Tunes-esque comedy.
Yeah, sort of like a slapstick silent
No,
movie version of a Looney Tunes cartoon with some video game motifs.
yep. The only spoken line I believe is the the main character and his would-be fiancée asking what in stereo together. But other than that, intertitles and, sound effects.
Mostly just no dialogue, and it's also, of course, all the animals in the movie. No animals were hurt in the making of this movie
I
because
don't think any animals were filmed in the making of this, actually.
all the animals are played by human beings in like masked mascot suits. So this is playing all throughout December in many different places. I am looking at the list of places here. I'll throw out some names: Quebec, Vancouver, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Sacramento, St. Petersburg, Florida, Chicago, Des Moines, so Pete Turbovich can see it. New Orleans, Louisiana, so Joe Badon can see it. Baltimore, Maryland, and so on. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Vicksburg, Mississippi, of course. You always take it to Vicksburg, Mississippi, and Kansas City, and so on. So a lot of big cities. Unfortunately, not Louisville, Kentucky, though, and not Troy, New York. But it is at a large number of cities throughout December. And I believe that at some of the screenings, at least, Ryan Brixton Cole 2s will be there in costume. Can't be at all of them because some of them, they're playing in two places at the same night. So, but he is supporting this tour in costume. So you might be able to meet him at one of these many different venues, which we will link. Dallas, Texas, you can see it. So that's Hundreds of Beavers re-release for Christmas season. I guess it's going to be now a Christmas movie. So let's go on. However, as we are running low on time, Giles, this poster, please.
Sure. Okay, this looks like the perspective here is a bit confusing. It looks like there are four bricked up window ways that are oriented so that they all meet at their top ends with very concrete. The outside is in cement, and an intersection is formed by these cylinder things that nature of which I'm uncertain. They are demarcated by broad white lines at the top. And on each of these broad white lines stands a figure. One of those figures looks to be a black bird. One fella in a kind of beige hoodie. Another, here, let me zoom in here. Another in a beige jacket, profile view. And in also profile view, there's a fourth figure in a really neat looking blue outfit holding a valise of some sort. So a bit surreal, while at the same time a bit humdrum.
Yes, and this is Universal Language. Matthew Rankin. This is now on Blu-ray. It has been on VOD, so you have no excuse not to have seen it. But now, if you love it, you can get it on Blu-ray. It is a very weird movie. The premise here is that it is set in Winnipeg, the Winnipeg of John Pays, Guy Madden, and now Matthew Rankin. But it's an alternate version of Winnipeg where everybody speaks Farsi. And it is a very, very strange movie. But the plot is such, it's one of those plots where it follows a bunch of different characters and they all intersect, the stories all intersect in a meaningful way. And it is an excellent, excellent weird movie that far too people have seen. Hopefully, the word is going to get out on this one. Universal Language, Matthew Rankin, you know him, you love him if you saw his first movie at least, The 20th Century. If not, here's your opportunity to love him, because this is I just can't say really enough good things about this movie. This is a very wonderful movie.
Thanks.
Moving on to a movie that I haven't seen, and I don't think I'm sure Giles hasn't seen.
This is a black and white still. There's a somewhat addled-looking mustachioed gentleman peering through a display cases, and his hands are pressing up against it as if, almost childlike in his ambitions there. And in this display case, and indeed littered around above, we can see everywhere are various little toys. It looks like there's a wind-up tin fellow on a tin little bicycle, a little toy, couple little toy tanks, some puppets. Off to the left is a an oddly dressed duck. Above, we can see various toy trucks and the like. So we have grown man with toys at display case.
Maybe it's a Christmas theme. He's dreaming of Christmas toys. Or he's spying on someone, perhaps. Because this is E-L, with a E with a accent mark over it, which I'm not sure why the accent mark is over it, but that is the proper title. And it is, of course, a Louis Bunuel movie from, I believe, 1957. It's from his Mexican period. If you know the career of Louis Bunuel, he started out as a surrealist in France and Spain. Then he kind of went to Mexico and went a lot more mainstream at the beginning. Tried to break into Hollywood, didn't really make it. Made a bunch of fairly mainstream dramas and melodramas in Mexico that used to have like one little hallucination scene in them. Then started coming back towards surrealism at the end of his Mexican period with The Exterminating Angel and Never Looked Back. And then for the final phase of his career, returned to France, where he made a series of his best remembered movies. He just made sort of hit after hit with Belle de Jour and Discreet Charm of the Bourgeois, Z and Discreet Object, Obscure Object of Desire.
And Milky Way was in that too, right?
Milky Way, yes. One of the rare directors who really did some of his strongest work at the very end of his career, just as most others would be winding down. He was knocking them out of the park.
Yeah.
This is from his middle period, kind of the more conventional one, but it's probably important to see if you love Bunuel for the historical perspective it gives you and that interesting career arc that he has. It fills in some of the gaps. I have not seen a lot of these Mexican movies, so this is out on Criterion Collection with a lot of extras, and I plan on purchasing this as it's out now within the window of the Barnes & Noble half off sale. So I can get it for half off.
Yeah, good enough to have a featurette appreciation by filmmaker Guillermo del Toro. So, yeah.
Giles, we're running low on time. We can probably do one more and then come back for a second session, just really quick if you're available.
Sure.
Let's do this one really quick because this is a standard edition of something we've already discussed.
Yeah, we got a man in the center of a circle. Left-hand cover shows a sort of schematic of an ominous round mechanism, and it's superimposed on a cityscape at night. And of course, on the right is an image that's probably familiar to virtually anyone who's come to this site of a non-drawn version of the actor who plays the main character on a clock face that is also superimposed, although albeit this is more in the distance, a city at night when there is not much light.
Which would be Dark City. And so this is the standard version, Blu-ray version of Dark City. We discussed the limited version of this in great detail. Previously, we just wanted to announce that this version is now available cheaper. It does say 4K Ultra HD. I think this may be the wrong image I have because I believe this is a Blu-ray. We'll be back in a second, though, to discuss that. I think we're running out of time, Giles, so you guys won't notice. We will be back very soon, and I'll answer that question about whether this is a Blu-ray or a 4K then.
Excellent.
See you soon. Hello, and we are back, although for you probably no time has passed. I am going to bring up that Dark City thing again. Okay, Giles, I solved this problem about whether it's a Blu-ray or a 4K UHD release during the break. It is both.
Nice.
Or rather, it is either. You don't get them both together, but you can pick whether to have the Blu-ray or the 4K. Other than that format, it appears that they are exactly the same. Did you mention when we were doing this before that this is a reversible cover?
Um, no, it looks
Really?
like that. I mean, I guess the special edition I've got is a box, so
Oh, okay.
it's different. So this looks like the reversible cover is perhaps exclusive to this normal release, in that you can get the classic DVD VHS cover for the film, mimics the poster at the time, or if you want, you can get the uh, hand drawn picture rejig that they had done up especially for the limited release. So I
You
this,
have
this this edition may have an outside option I don't have. As
so you have the this same edition from Arrow Video, but in the limited edition?
I have the limited edition. Yeah, it came in yeah, it was a box that had you pulled out the book style thing, opened it, and you got your discs and so on.
Did you have
Um,
this same artwork in it?
the box is done with the artwork as seen on the left, the sort of schematic drawing style one. Although, yeah, it comes with with the box, it's the cover is exclusively the drawn style one, but it does come with among its extras a mini poster
Hmm.
that echoes the Rufus Sewell on clock
Okay.
um, famous image.
Yes, an image that, of course, is a sort of visual quote to Metropolis.
Mhm.
As a lot of this movie has quotes to silent, Dark City has quotes to silent cinema classics, Metropolis, and very, very obviously Nosferatu. So,
And certainly expressionism abounds, lots of spirals going on. So yeah.
yeah, other stuff too. Okay, we're finishing up Dark City. Now we're going to get into the four or five feature films that I'm going to have to bring those up. I forgot to do that. Um, hold
No,
on for 1 second. Um, we're going to go into five Blu-rays and 4K UHD. I think they're mostly Blu-rays that are being released next week. There were really more than five. I chose just to focus on the five strangest and most significant releases. So these will be things that we normally would cover next week, but since we'll be off, we're jumping ahead to cover them right now. Now let me see if I can bring up the image, and there we go. This is the first one we are going to cover. And Giles, since we have time, you may describe this poster if you like.
I will do my best. I'm trying to get a grip on what's going on. Well, anyway, they're magenta overtones. There is, shall we say, a Middle English style font print for the title here. In the center, we see the pretty much profile side and front of the faces of the two lovers. A young, handsome fella is tilted in a kiss to a sort of disintegrating, scabrous, ovine kind of feminine face. And this image is enhanced by some glowing green goo sort of cascading romantically around the pair. And there are four sort of small portrait snapshot-esque things done up in a rotoscopic style kind of design. Upper left, we have a strangely haired, scrawny fellow looking over the shoulder of a punk-esque looking young woman. Bottom left, I can see a young woman in a bra. Seems to have her hands around a rather nasty looking phallic monster head.
Hmm.
Bottom right hand corner looks like the severed head of somebody. And upper right hand corner, there is a figure menacing another figure who's looking up at him with some anguish. All of this done, of course, with lots of pinks and magenta and these swirls of green before a cosmic backdrop. I guess maybe a sort of tarot card-esque kind of feel here.
And it is a 4K Ultra
4K
HD.
Ultra HD.
There is a title, which you may read.
Tromeo and Juliet.
Yes, the canonically weird Tromeo and Juliet, sold here as Lloyd Kaufman's Tromeo and Juliet. I think, if I may speculate, he's calling it Lloyd Kaufman's Tromeo and Juliet because he's tired of people giving James Gunn the credit for this one, because James Gunn, of course, co-wrote this and then went on to bigger fame, and everybody always mentions James Gunn worked on this movie, and it is the best movie that Troma has ever produced. I feel confident in saying that, although, you know, some may disagree, but in my mind, this is their great moment. This is now on 4K UHD from, I believe it is a Vinegar Syndrome release. Hold on. Yes, it's being done in conjunction, Troma in conjunction with Vinegar Syndrome. Of course, it's the Troma adaptation of Romeo and Juliet with, you know, punk rock and piercing and lesbian sex and incest and all that good stuff that
And Lemmy.
Shakespeare would have written about but didn't. Go on.
Oh, I was just saying, and Lemmy from Motorhead does a
Lemmy,
wonderful turn as the storyteller.
I thought you were saying, and Lemmy, like...
Oh, no. Lemuel from Motorhead.
Yes. I'm going to actually, since we have a little bit of time, I'm going to, if I can, stop sharing this screen. Here, let's, come on, buddy. Maybe I'm not going to do that. There. I'm going to stop sharing that screen temporarily. I'm going to share a new screen. Let's take a look at some other images from this 4K UHD. We'll just scroll through some images for your viewing pleasure here. Here's Jane Jensen, who plays Juliet, with Debbie Rochon, who plays her maid, seducing her in this wonderful scene that everyone treasures from Shakespeare. Here is, I'm not sure, that's like Mercutio, I think, or something.
No, Mercutio is Tromeo's buddy. That is one of the Capulets.
He's a Capulet.
I couldn't tell you. It's been a while since I've interacted with the play, and slightly less time since I've interacted with, or since I've seen this movie. But yeah, that's one of the baddies, whereas Mercutio...
Well, they're all baddies.
Well...
Okay.
He's one of the worst.
All right. Here is another scene of what I believe is simply an extra with a whip.
Yep.
A scene of Romeo holding a disembodied hand with a knife in it. Here is a scene of three of the minor characters looking.
Yeah, the one on the bottom is Mercutio.
Okay.
The one above is, I think, Benny Q Cap. No, I don't know. Yeah, I should rewatch this, but yes, those three people. By the time this scene shows up, they're all dead. He's having a nasty hallucination.
And finally, this scene of the Capulet father with a computer monitor smashed over his head, holding a crossbow in front of the plexiglass cage, which he likes to imprison Juliet. So that is Tromeo and Juliet from Vinegar Syndrome by Troma. It comes with a ton of so many extra features. We are not even going to bother to go through them all, but like 4 commentary tracks, it looks like. They did get James Gunn and Lloyd Kaufman together for one of them, but remember, it is Lloyd Kaufman's Tromeo and Juliet. So that's Tromeo and Juliet, canonically weird, so therefore a major release. All these Troma movies have been getting 4K re-releases recently, and that's another one in the set.
Yeah,
So
looks like most of these ported over from probably the DVD edition, although there are 4 at least brand new featurettes on this disc.
yeah, just as usual with the Troma feature, they have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of special features. Here's one that doesn't have lots of special features, but it's a very significant release nonetheless. Giles, you want to describe this poster?
All right. Well, we got a sort of animation style for a hand-drawn, cartoony kind of thing for a lot of it, but that's in conjunction with what looks like a sort of scrapbook of various human figures put on there, and then also colored, seemingly crayon-wise, with the overarching scheme of the cover here. What dominates, we got a rainbow background. We've got a cluttered sky with different sort of facial parts, but mostly sort of trippy blues and purples there. And the center creature is a blue, very alien-looking thing with a pair of high-arched, curved wings with feather-like protrusions. Its head is very round. It looks like it's got a weird little like a reverse dimple eye, a little dollop of, I don't know, antenna, but sort of looks like a little tendril hairdo thing. You can see a small smile on its small mouth, small nose, very small side ears, but very, very large eyes. Combined, taking up a good third of this thing's face, staring directly at us with, I'll say a friendly look because I wouldn't want it to be otherwise. And resting in front of this thing are the sort of cutout, photo stills of, I presume, the titular family or group there, and they're crayoned over. And in the foreground, there's a little girl and also some greenery. So very vibrant, very anarchic, very strange.
Yes, and so it is The Happiness of the Katakuris, which is apocryphally weird. I believe it's the very first apocryphally weird movie
I believe so, yeah.
that I wrote up. That little creature does appear in the movie, but looks nothing like that and has nothing at all to do with the plot. It's
Excellent.
stop motion animated.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see the still that you have for this review as we see a glimpse of it, and it certainly isn't blue.
No, it looks nothing at all like that thing on the cover, but that's what it is. And it has nothing to do with the plot either. The plot is about a Japanese family that opens a bed and breakfast and starts killing their clients, and that's just the beginning of it because it's Takashi Miike. It gets very weird, and we should point out, of course, that besides being a surreal black comedy from Takashi Miike, it's also his only, I believe, musical. So it is a musical. Very much worth seeing if you haven't seen it yet. So this is from Discotheque Blu-ray. I believe it's the movie's first time on Blu-ray, but because it's from Discotheque, don't expect any special features. Just the movie, nothing else. So if that's all you care about, here you go. This is another one from the catalog. Giles, describe this image, if you will.
Nice. We got a sort of folkloric illustration here. We got it's a humanoid shape to be sure, but seems to be like a cross between like a traditional Western style demon and maybe a tree. There's strange variations of the structure, but that might just be a stylized thing going on here. It could just be furry and, lumpy. It's got 4 horns. It's got a sort of upturned nose. It's got hypnotic yellow eyes looking straight at us. And it is opening its 2 3-fingered hands at us, on each of which are 2 sideways green eyeballs also peering at us. And in the background of this odd creature are very zombie-looking things done up in a simplistic but effective kind of drawing with rot and smiles and open nasal cavities and wide eyes and scraggly hair and done up in a atmospheric soft green color here.
All right. And the title?
The Demon's Rook.
Okay, so this is a movie that came out in the 2000s at some point, 2014, I believe. I could be wrong. 2005, or no, I don't know. It came out in the 2000s. It is a movie that is a low-budget DIY movie, horror movie, very surreal, got really good reviews. For some reason, we didn't cover it because it was not available on, it didn't get a good theatrical release where I could have got a chance to see it. And then it didn't get released on DVD except by imports. So now here it is, and we can finally check it out without too much legwork here on Blu-ray in the United States for the first time. I'm going to read the product description for this to let you know what's going on since we haven't seen it. The fever dreams of Lucio Fulci collide with 80s creatures features in this surreal horror fantasy wherein a young boy named Roscoe is lured into a parallel dimension by the good demon Dimwas. Raised to manhood in this dark realm, a Christ-like Roscoe, played by writer-director James Sizemore, pops out of the earth decades later, bringing with him the secrets of the netherworld. Unfortunately, a trio of malevolent demons is none too pleased with this, and, after turning a group of dim-witted construction workers into marauding ghouls and slaughtering a gaggle of campers, is after Roscoe with a maniacal vengeance. Now Earth's only chance at survival is a hipster raised in hell and his damaged childhood chum Ava, whose path to glory is lit in every color of Argento's rainbow. And that, if that doesn't get you excited, that description doesn't get you excited, I think you should stop listening and go listen to some romantic comedy podcast because this is
dislike, unsubscribe, and
no, don't do that.
No.
Don't do what Giles said.
It looks like this came out in 2013, but it has the look of something that came out a decade prior.
Right. And once again, I am going to get a new share up so we can see some stills from this to get you excited if you're not already excited enough just from that description. So let me get, sorry folks, bear with me. There we go. This should be it. Here are some new stills to whet your appetite. Demon of some sort, I'm guessing. In blue, a horned guy. There is also this woman covered in blood.
Possibly missing some skin on her face.
Possibly missing some skin on her face. Here is a shadowy figure in a red fog. Here is another demon, horns and all, howling at the moon. Here is a dead-eyed hipster or hippie. And here are some ghouls, zombies.
Green smoke. I was looking for a movie to review for next week. I'll go ahead and sign up for this one.
Well, if you can order it and get it out.
I just did.
All right. It is one definitely that I really wanted to see when it came out, but like I said, wasn't easy to see. Now, the catalog has finally rescued it from obscurity. You could have got it through imports before, but now we have a much better way to see it. So let's get back to the last two that we're going to discuss. Describe this poster, if you will.
This is done photo collage poster style, tipping its hat to the era that it is referencing. We see a picture of a middle-aged man, perhaps younger side of middle-aged. Worry lines, concerned expression, although a bit passive. Collared shirt, necktie. However, this man in front, his face is split in two in a sort of tear. Maybe a Terry Gilliam-esque kind of maneuver might be a good way to evoke this image. And from behind this placid expression on this man is a much more crazed looking individual who we can barely make out. We see nose with shadow, we see open mouth, we see wide eyes staring straight ahead. So some inner thing that is clamoring to come out is well captured by this particular promotional still for this film.
Which is a film by Peter Strickland because he didn't want anybody to think that James Gunn wrote it. Of course, James Gunn had nothing to do with the Berberian Sound Studio, which is this movie. A new world of sound awaits you. So it's a sound-themed movie. I have not seen this one. I've seen most of Peter Strickland's movie, but not this one, which was his, if not his debut film, certainly his breakout film. Giles, however, has seen it. So, Giles, do you want to describe it briefly for people?
Sure. This is, I'll give you my plot right up here. Gilderoy, an English Foley artist, takes on a job at an Italian studio to work on a horror film, and his mind begins unspooling. So they're making a giallo picture that we only ever see the opening credits of, and those promise something chaotic, demonic, stylish, and amazing. However, we never see anything on screen. We see this guy working the Foley for it, and we can find out a bunch of the neat little tricks done in the analog days of sound effects and soundcraft there. And Toby Jones plays the English Foley artist who has gone up and shuffled over to Italy to work on this production, and he is distressed and intrigued by the goings-on. He deals with a secretary from hell. He doesn't ever seem to be able to get his recompense back for his travel and lodging. And toward the end, there's an odd shift, indeed a fundamental shift in the nature of his character that, if I recall, is left fairly, perhaps totally, unexplained.
But you did not recommend it for the Apocrypha. Surprising.
No, it was sort of like, I guess maybe the evil side of quirky might be how I describe it, which of course is not typical. So, but yeah, this is absolutely fascinating for sound design standpoint and as a character study.
Yes, of course, Peter Strickland is already recognized on our Apocrypha list for in thread, is that what it's called? In fabric. Yes. So we're not missing his representation. But Berberian Sound Studio, one I've never seen, I'd like to check out and see how weird I find it. But then the last one, Giles just described this cover.
Yeah, this is a cartoon kind of promotional still here. We've got a cosmic background sliced off with the upper right corner and the bottom left corner slapped with white and outline of train tracks. In the middle section with this cosmic thing, we have the title, which has appropriate starscape for what it is. Characters here, we've got tall, elegant, thin, long, flowy blonde hair, sort of femme fatale-ish looking woman with a lovely black fur hat, and I'm guessing a black fur coat below to match it there. And coming up to about her mid-torso level is a squat humanoid figure with a massive paunched belly. We don't see this character's face to speak of. It's just this sort of black void with two glowing green eyes with whatever particulars may or may not be there, covered by the tall collar of his blue uniform jacket or by the low lying brim of the uniform hat, and he's giving a smart salute showing off a white gloved hand. And in front of that character, who's much shorter than the woman, is a character shorter even than himself. A wide-mouthed, toothed, sort of hobo-looking individual, possibly a kid, hard to say, wearing a burlap looking sack, either like a traveling cloak or perhaps even, a cape, superhero happy something of some sort, and a big splotched olive drab hat. We can see they're wearing a red shirt. So we got some very cartoons here, and they're standing front and center and sort of looming behind them, emerging from the Cosmos section of the poster, is a steam engine with, I'm going to say, at least 8 or 9 train cars that we could see.
Yeah, and so this is Galaxy Express, the TV series. Now, this was also made into a movie version of this, which is reviewed somewhere on our site, although I cannot find it at the moment. But this is the TV series version, and it is the complete one. It was previously released in 2 episodes. I know virtually nothing about this except that it does have a cult following and is indeed weird. It is episodes 1 through 113. So plenty there to keep you busy with Galaxy Express. I will read, if I can, from the product description. After witnessing the death of his mother and being left for dead at the hands of Count Mecha, 10-year-old Tetsuro Hoshino is awakened by a mysterious woman, Meatel. In exchange for his company, Meatel offers him the ride of his life on Galaxy Express 999. It is said that those who travel aboard the legendary train to the end of the line can receive a free mechanical body and with it immortality. Impoverished and alone, Tetsuo leaps at the opportunity and joins Meatel in a quest that will span the cosmos. As the Galaxy Express 999 makes its way across our solar system and beyond, Tetsuo is drawn deeper into a dangerous universe where peril lurks at every stop. So, yeah, sounds like a stranger than normal anime to me. But
45 hours and 12 minutes.
45 hours and 12 minutes. But then again, I know next to nothing about this. Again, this comes from Discotech Media, so don't expect any special features or anything. But with that much going on, you probably don't need any. Does it say how many discs it is? Do you see?
I was kind of looking for that. It just says Blu-ray, 45, 12 minutes. And yeah, the picture does not give it away either. So at least on the Amazon.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a
They're
large
being
number
coy.
with 113 episodes. So yes, that's Galaxy Express 999, something I know our anime fans will be interested in. So that's it. We've covered.
Okay, here we huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Oh, that's collection 1. It's all okay. My guess is it's 9 discs because there's a smaller collection from the same kind of release that's 3 discs. So I imagine you're looking at close to 10 Blu-rays here.
Okay. So that's all the releases for this week, the week of November 14th or November 21st, and next week, Thanksgiving week, November 28th. We will be off next week, return the following week. No guests scheduled, although we do have some names we're looking at. But Giles, what should people do?
Oh, they should.
I mean,
they should like
breathe
us.
and eat, but
They should visit the site, tell their friends to visit the site, watch our YouTube videos, subscribe to the YouTube channel, spread the good word about 366, possibly by purchasing either the 2-volume or the double volume set of the 366 canonically weird movies. If you happen to be in a position to fund a college department, perhaps a class about weird movies, with our book as the anchor tome for it. All manner of great things you can do to spread Thanksgiving cheer vis-a-vis 366 weird movies.
that's a good idea. And we have plenty of ideas for Christmas purchases for Black Friday. on this episode. One further thing that you can do is people often will ask us questions or make comments on the blog post. If you do that on the YouTube channel instead, it helps the algorithm. But we'll respond to you wherever you want to get to us. Talk to us on Facebook, talk to us on the blog, talk to us on YouTube.
See us wandering around towns, come up and feel free to tell us how great 366 Weird Movies are.
There you go. And so that will do it. See you in 2 weeks. Have a happy Thanksgiving, Giles.
You too.
And
have a happy
Thanksgiving, everyone out there. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Weird. Yeah, I guess that is the word for it. Weird.